So all of you are college students. Perhaps some of you know your credit score. Maybe some of you don't. But even if you do know what it is, do you really know what the factors are that are involved in creating that number? I mean, it seems elusive to most people, and even if you do understand it, you probably still don't fully understand it, no matter what. But for me, I've looked a lot into it for raising my own credit score, along with many of my friends, so we get to a respectable level and start building towards our financial futures. Credit scores are widely misunderstood by college students, but they have both personal and financial effects that last long after a decision has been made. Credit scoring at its cost is misunderstood. Even though that single number may mean nothing to you, and there may be many factors involved that you don't quite understand, banks do. It doesn't matter whether you understand it, they do, they deal with it all day long. And that's all that really matters. Whatever they think of you is what they're going to think. For example, you may not know what the terms dealing with credit scoring are. Perhaps 7 years after the last date of delinquency, or increased interest costs, or anything like that. It really affects you, but you may not fully understand it. A mistake at 20 can lead to increased expenses when you're 27. Because of how credit scoring works, negative items take 7 years to fall off your credit report. 7 years is a long time. At least I feel like it's a long time. Might not to you, maybe, high school and college, or maybe even back in middle school. Feels like it was yesterday to you. It doesn't to me. It may to you. It doesn't really matter though, because banks will still see it up to 7 years later. Now, it takes 7 years for a negative item to fall off, even though something that happened may be long forgotten. Banks will remember it. It may not matter to you, may not really even matter to them, but the information's still there, they can still see it, it's still stuck there. You simply have to wait for it to fall off, or you could ask the creditor if they would be willing to take it off as a sign of goodwill. It may or may not happen. 7 years ago, the royal wedding of 2011 between William and Kate happened. Maybe some of you remember it like it was yesterday, but I bet that most of you don't. I don't. I remember watching it. I don't particularly remember anything else about the day though. A person with bad credit will always pay more. Even though a small percentage point may not mean anything to you, 1%. Perhaps you're using, your credit card at a place that has a surcharge on. 1%, oh, no problem. But as you can see, when you're talking about many, many years, even 1 or 2% can make a massive difference in how much you're going to pay. And it isn't just with interest rates. For example, people with bad credit may pay more for insurance, they may need to pay more in deposits, but all in all, even if you don't see it, you'll feel it. And your financial history may impact your personal and professional relationships. Now, perhaps 6 years from now, you're thinking about marriage, and you want that person that you are getting married to put everything on the table, see what's happening with your finances, with your credit. There may be issues there that they never knew about, maybe you never even knew about, but it's still there and it still counts. Another example is employers. Many employers today check your credit. I know that when I got hired, my employer pulled my credit, didn't say anything about it, but if they see many red flags, like you're constantly late on your payments or you're highly, highly in debt, they may get very concerned about what you'll do if they offer you that job. But the most important thing is that decisions that are made in the college years can have a many-faceted difference in your life. Even little things, just paying your bills on time and things like that, may not mean not much now, but in 5 years, if you miss a payment, you'll surely be wishing that you didn't do that. So in conclusion, even though credit scoring is widely misunderstood by many college students, learning about it now and preparing now and knowing what you need to do now is very important for 5 years down the line when you're a totally different person, totally different interests, and your life's probably completely different too.